Hello there. Welcome back to Andy Boy Comics and Toys. Now, I've already reviewed a couple of Star Wars movies already. I thought I would do them in, episodic order. So far, of course, I've gotten through the legendary Phantom Menace and the notorious Attack of the Clones. Now, we get to Episode 3, which I think is the best of the prequel Star Wars trilogy. Star Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Sith Lord.
Then we get to Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Why am I holding the CD cover? Well, I don't actually have a DVD version of Revenge of the Sith, but of course I don't have it on VHS because although it was released on VHS, those are pretty hard to find. I would like to get my hands on a copy of that sometime soon, but it is not this day. I do have it on my complete Blu-ray collection here. I actually watched it on Disney Plus. Hey, I got some use out of my Disney Plus subscription. You know, although I have been subscribed for several years to Disney Plus, I don't really get very much use out of it. This is a little sidebar here. Disney Plus, I guess I'd probably watch about maybe 2 hours, 3 hours a week of Disney Plus, but I'm paying $12 a month, 13, whatever it is now, I don't know, it just comes off of my credit card automatically, which is fantastic. Welcome to the 21st century.
Get on with it!
Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Oh, where do I start with this one?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
First off the bat, I'm going to have to say that, this is my favorite of the 3 prequel trilogy movies. I'd have to say it's probably got the best acting, which, that's a low bar.
I don't like sand.
You're starting to become a Jedi. I'm a senator.
He's holding me back!
It also has, probably the best special effects. I mean, they're getting better as they went along, right? The CGI is superior here. There's stuff in here that you'd never seen before in any other movie, maybe in the previous Star Wars movies, but as a rule, I mean, Star Wars was always cutting edge with its special effects right up until 2005 when this came out. That's one of the highlights of the movie, is all the cool visuals that are going on in here. The storyline itself, it stumbles a little bit, but it's a hell of a lot better than Attack of the Clones, and definitely better than The Phantom Menace as well. Hayden Christensen, again, returns as Anakin Skywalker. He's a whole lot better in this movie than he was in Attack of the Clones. He still gets some really stupid lines, but his screen presence is a little better. He plays the part a little bit better, but just some of those lines.
What about the other Jedi spread across the galaxy?
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil! You underestimate my power!
I mean, he has some good lines too, I mean, when he screams, "I hate you!" at Obi-Wan Kenobi at the very end. Yeah, that was a memorable moment. Watching him get burned alive was pretty good. His screaming, he screamed pretty good as he turns to the dark side and becomes Darth Vader. He looks pretty badass. It's a few dramatic scenes with Padme. The last scene that he gets with her is one of the best scenes in the movie. However, some of their scenes of the two of them hanging out in their apartment contains some of the most wooden dialogue and contrived exposition-heavy stuff that I think I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. Maybe edged out a little bit more by Attack of the Clones now that I think about it. But I just can't take these two seriously as a couple. Natalie Portman, I think, is kind of horrible in this movie until her not her last scene, because she dies of a broken heart in her last scene and gives birth.
Spoiler alert!
But her final scene with Anakin is very emotional, very heartfelt, and you get a real sense of she's a real person and, a real vulnerable human being here.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart.
Whereas earlier in the movie, she's just seems like a dummy. I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't enjoy those early scenes with her and Anakin. Ewan McGregor, again, good as Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is probably his best performance as Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you ask me. You know, for somebody that's been kind of seems like holding back his emotions for 2 movies now, he seems to let it all out in the end.
You said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! You were my brother, Anakin!
It's quite exciting, and, you know, he's going through some turmoil as well. I mean, is he, in fact, responsible for Anakin and his turn to the dark side? I mean, he did everything he could in his mind to prevent him from turning, but that crafty old Palpatine. Yeah, Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, again, is pretty good. Actually, this is his best movie, I think. Well, I think I kind of liked him in Return of the Jedi even better, because he has some cheesy-ass lines in this movie, too.
Good, Anakin, good. Kill him now.
Maybe not so much the lines, but some of the scenes with him are like, oh my god, why did you leave that in the movie? For instance, when Mace Windu and the 3 other Jedi go to confront Palpatine in his office, when they learn that he is, in fact, a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
He jumps out from behind his desk and he's like,
it's treason, then.
And he does his little spinning, his little spinning freak out thing there. But just his, like, stupid, underhanded lightsaber thrust, it looks so stupid. And the look on his face, he's like, oh, here. It's so goofy. And it's kind of a ridiculous battle, too. I mean, I shouldn't be skipping all over the place in terms of the storyline of this movie, but come on, you've all seen it, right? Yeah, that whole Jedi battle. He takes out like 3 guys in like 12 seconds. One of them dies within a second and a half. Yeah, it's pretty dumb. And, speaking of the Jedi battle and Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, this is probably his best too. I mean, they're all kind of at their best out of the 3 movies here, because I've had time to grow into the role and kind of develop it the way that they wanted to. Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu, he has some really cool lines to say.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master. Take a seat, young Skywalker.
And some really cool situations that he's in, and he fights like a badass and everything, but he could have done so much more. We could have had so much more of a Samuel L. Jackson performance in this movie, but instead we got a George Lucas directed exposition fest that sounds like it came out of a textbook or something. And
Sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
like at some points, the dialogue with all these characters doesn't really feel like there's really real people saying this stuff.
So love has blinded you.
Use my knowledge, I beg you.
My clone troops turned on me.
I mean, in the original trilogy, in The Empire Strikes Back, those were some of the most natural performances I'd ever seen from actors. Like,
You want me to stay because of the way you feel about me?
Yes!
This deal is getting worse all the time.
Chewie, take the professor in the back and plug him into the hyperdrive.
they seem like real people. I mean, yeah, of course, they're flying through space and they're shooting Wookiees and Wampas and fighting Imperial Walkers and stuff, but it seemed like real. I mean, the Revenge of the Sith has the daunting task of having to tie up all these story elements that George Lucas threw at us in 1999 and 2002 and resolve all this crap so that we can get it right to boom, we're ready to start episode 4. Or that we know, in 19 years, this is what's going to happen. And we all know that. So we have to clean up all this mess that we've made in the previous 2 movies and get to that. And most of that resolution is made in like the last 20-30 minutes of the movie, including stuff like, well, here's how Darth Vader got his suit, and here's how Obi-Wan defeated him on the planet of Mustafar, and here's how Padme died, and how she gave birth to the twins before she died, and this is when Obi-Wan goes into exile, this is how Luke ends up on Tatooine, and they even explain how C-3PO doesn't recognize anybody. They wipe his memory at the end of Revenge of the Sith. It's like, I mean, why did you even have to bring R2-D2 and C-3PO in the prequel trilogy? I mean, it's just fan service, right? Oh, and Chewbacca's in here too, which is complete fan service. Pointless in this movie. It didn't do anything for me to see him again. I mean, it's a brand new Chewbacca suit. I mean, yeah, I know it's the same actor under there, and he wanted to play Chewbacca one more time or whatever, and that's cool. But, Peter Mayhew, may he rest in peace. No disrespect, but I didn't really need to see him. I don't know. I hope that, whatever revenue he made off of being in Revenge of the Sith, I hope it was, made his life better. And, thank you, sir, for your service to Star Wars. But, I mean, really, he didn't even get a line. I don't know, he didn't really have any lines in any of the other movies anyway. Nothing intelligible. One thing they did resolve early in the movie was, of course, Count Dooku. Yeah, Dooku goes out like a punk. Christopher Lee doesn't really get any cool lines in this one. I thought he was a little bit cooler in the last one. In this one, it's like, for most of the time he's on the screen, well, I guess half the time when the character's on the screen, it's not even him. It's his body double fighting like Christopher Lee, another R.I.P. I'm pretty sure he could swing a sword pretty good back in his day, but at this point the dude's like 80-something years old, or 70-something, I don't even know, and he's not going to be doing Jedi flips and taking on, two Jedi Knights at the same time. No. Yeah, and Palpatine.
Kill him now.
I already talked about Palpatine, but basically the movie's all about him, so, well, not so much about him, but if it wasn't for him, none of these other movies would have been happening. Yeah, he makes for a good bad guy. He gets his good speech when they're at that, they're at the, like, opera house or whatever, and they sit down and they're watching this big glowing bubble full of fish people dancing or something, and he talks about how being a Sith is super cool, and the tale of Darth Plagueis, and
ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Hey Anakin, the Jedi suck. You should look more into this Sith stuff. Seems right up your alley.
Good, Anakin, good.
And, and then he plants the idea in Anakin's head that, basically Padme's gonna die. But, I know some stuff about some stuff that could maybe save her. I mean, I like how they kind of set that up, and, but it takes all the responsibility off of Anakin Skywalker's shoulders for his action, because it's like, basically he's being manipulated and mind controlled. There's no way that this kid that's, such a powerful Jedi and everything, there's no way that he could possibly turn to the dark side if it wasn't for Palpatine. He couldn't just be like a selfish jerk, could he?
Is it possible to learn this power?
I mean, because that's what I always assumed in the original trilogy until I came around to this stuff, and the whole thing about, Palpatine sending him dreams and stuff about how his wife's gonna die, and the only possible course of action is to join the Sith and kill the Jedi. Yeah. Order 66. That also wraps up conveniently all the clone and droid stuff. Like, suddenly they flick a switch and all the clones attack everybody, and I guess we're to assume that because of the way that their clone armor and all that stuff starts to look in this movie, or I'm thinking a lot of the stormtroopers that we saw in A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back were actually clones. Clones of Jango Fett. In this movie, of course, I don't know, anytime one of them takes their helmet off, looks exactly like Jango Fett. Anytime they speak, it's that guy's voice. It's like, yeah, I know they're clones and everything, but it's like, why do we have to, like, and they went back and they changed the Empire Strikes Back to edit out the original actor's voice for Boba Fett so they could stick this guy in here that came from just like the last movie, and so like, oh, now we gotta, it won't be believable unless he sounds like Jango Fett.
What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me.
Why did you have to fuck with that movie, man? And New Hope is even worse, and I'm gonna get to stuff about New Hope and Empire Strikes Back eventually. But right now, let's focus on Revenge of the Sith. What are some of the cool things about it? I mean, I've had a few complaints already. One of my favorite characters that they introduced in this movie is General Grievous. I thought he was pretty cool. I thought he was like, he had this like vaguely like almost like Russian, Middle European kind of accent, and he Jedi scum, and he's like,
General Kenobi, your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection. I will deal with this Jedi slime myself.
I don't know, I mean, it wasn't like a racial stereotype like we saw in like Phantom Menace or anything like that.
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
But yeah, he's a big cyborg guy. He's got the 4 arms and he fights with the 4 lightsabers. Like, that's fucking cool, man. And so I think that's one of the best scenes in the movie, actually, is Obi-Wan versus General Grievous. And their initial, like, fight duel thing, as well as, you know, Obi-Wan jumps on a giant lizard and chases General Grievous in his rolling fucking wheel thing. That's a pretty good scene. And then he eventually, like, shoots him and kills him.
So uncivilized.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie. I really like that. The opening battle scene, the scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin are in their little Jedi craft. They're going to rescue Palpatine, and they have to fight off all these like enemy fighters. And then there's like, they launch like these buzz droids on the wing of Obi-Wan's, well, I was gonna say plane, but you know, his like starship. Yeah, that scene was pretty cool. There's some dumb dialogue there, but they're trying to do the Star Wars like buddy, like what if this was like Luke and Han talking, you know, or Biggs and Wedge or something, like, you know, some starfighter pilots, and they're in combat, and I don't know, it was okay. And then that leads into like the Jedi adventure aboard the General Grievous's flagship or whatever. They rescue Palpatine from Dooku, they kill Dooku, or Anakin beheads Dooku, rather.
Spoiler alert!
You get that really dumb scene of R2-D2. I think it's dumb. First of all, I don't like the droid voices in that part of the movie. But where R2-D2 like spews out a bunch of oil all over these droids, and then he sets it on fire with his rockets and he flies away. It's like, what the fuck? R2-D2 never did anything like that in the original trilogy. It's like, he must be badly in need of repair by the time A New Hope comes around. How come they didn't get him all juiced up and back to 100% by the time they went to Endor? It's dumb. And then they have to crash land the thing on Coruscant, and you know, Coruscant, the center of the universe and the center of the galaxy and the seat of power in the galaxy, and location of the Jedi Temple and all that stuff. And okay, so we're back in Coruscant. General Grievous escapes, so we gotta go after him later and do all that stuff that I was talking about. Oh, as we get to that, hey, remember Jar Jar Binks? Well, you might think he's only in like the one scene. Remember at the end, Padme dies and there's the funeral on Naboo, and they see Jar Jar walking around, walking like an idiot in his dress or whatever. It's actually not the only scene that he's in. I don't know if it's because I watched this on Disney Plus and this was a scene that was like stuck back in there, but I didn't remember this from before. You know, they arrive on Coruscant, they're greeted by like all these other counselors and senators, and Jar Jar's actually there. I mean, I think I noticed before that he was there, but he actually has a line in Revenge of the Sith, and I did not know that. But, and it's not much of a line. I mean, all he says is, he's like, somebody gets in his way and he's like, "Excuse me." I mean, if he said, "Excuse me," would have been so much better. Yeah, so Jar Jar Binks not being in this movie very much was actually a plus. Even though I said in the past that I actually kind of like him, I think he was wisely absent from 99.9% of this movie. Another scene I actually quite enjoyed, and there's barely any dialogue in it at all. Anakin comes back from talking with Palpatine after discovering that he's the Sith Lord that the Jedi have been looking for, and he tells Mace Windu. Mace Windu's reaction is really dumb.
Sith Lord?
Like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
sense a plot to destroy the Jedi.
Do you think? And then so Anakin tells him about it, and he jets off with his other 3 guys and says, "Anakin, you stay here." Anakin sits in the council chamber. And this is one of the best like moody kind of scenes in all of Star Wars, I think. Anakin sitting alone in the Jedi Council chamber, making his choices. There's like no music, very little sound effects, just kind of silence, and looking out the window and pondering and feeling, getting a sense of what's coming in the future, like what's about to happen here. And it really builds like pretty good tension and pretty good emotion. Like, how does Anakin feel about all this? And you can tell that he's thinking about, well, if I let Mace Windu go and kill Palpatine, maybe Padme is gonna die. So, he makes his decision and he jumps in his little sky speeder or whatever and goes. But that one scene, like, it's like a minute long or something like that, was what it was emotionally impactful. You didn't get a lot of scenes like that in The Phantom Menace or in Attack of the Clones. And Palpatine basically is getting his ass kicked by Mace Windu. Mace Windu's got him on the ropes, the window's busted, and his face is all fucked up because of the Force lightning being reflected back in his face, and he's all weird, and then Anakin comes in and saves him and cuts off Mace Windu's arm, and Palpatine blasts him out the window with his lightning and turns Anakin to the dark side.
Game over, man!
And that scene, can't say I like the acting in that very much. I mean, Palpatine's okay, he's fine, he's got his fucked up voice and he looks all messed up and his face is just gross garbage right now. He's okay. But Hayden Christensen, some of those lines, dude, I will do whatever you ask of me.
Just help me save Padme's life.
And he's like, oh yeah, of course, I'll call you Darth Vader.
Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader.
Blood, we'll save your... I can't save your wife's life right now, sorry, but yeah, we'll work on that one. We'll put that on the agenda. But right now, Order 66, boom, all my clones are evil and they're gonna kill all the Jedi, and I need you to go to the Jedi Temple and wipe out all the fucking kids.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them.
So Anakin goes down there and leads a bunch of stormtroopers. Well, basically at this point they're stormtroopers, but the clone troopers, he leads them all onto the Jedi Temple, and they fucking slaughter all the Jedi that are there. Yeah, that's pretty tragic. On Utapau, Obi-Wan gets attacked by clones, which is the real Attack of the Clones. And all the other ones on other planets, they get betrayed by the troopers that they're working with, and like they get shot to hell and just utterly destroyed and wiped out. Yoda also on Kashyyyk, when he's fighting with the Wookiees against the droids and stuff, he gets betrayed by his clone troopers, but he manages to escape with the help of Chewbacca and his buddy, which I just thought was weird. It's like, why do they got this perfectly Yoda-sized little escape pod out in the bushes somewhere? Like, did Yoda bring that with him and, with a contingency plan, or the Wookiees just happen to need a dwarf-sized escape pod for whatever reason, just in case? I guess Yoda was thinking ahead. I mean, he is pretty smart. He's pretty wise. Yeah, and then we get back to Coruscant, and Yoda's got to fight Palpatine, which is a pretty cool fight, I gotta say. It gets a little goofy in some spots, but all the lightning and crap, and he's throwing the Senate pods or whatever at Yoda, and that was pretty neat. But then we get to what I think should have been the strongest part of this movie, but because they so overdid it, is actually my least favorite part of the movie, and that's the duel between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan. I mean, I know Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor practice and train for just literally months so that they could perform all these moves and stuff, and it's like, there's just so much. It's just like they're spinning their lightsabers around, you can't even see what the fuck's going on. Oh, it looks like Anakin's winning. Oh no, Obi-Wan's winning. Oh, Anakin's winning. Oh, and they're chasing each other all over these fucking towers in the lava planet, and there's so much shit going on. They're jumping on floating droids and they're surfing on these robots so they can fight each other and not fall in the lava, and that's so fucking dumb. It's it's so excessive. And it goes on for 10-15 minutes or something, and it's just get to the point already. I don't know, it just got really boring and dumb until they jump off and they're like on the side of the hill in the lava fields or whatever. And Obi-Wan jumps off. I have the high ground. You're fucked, Anakin.
I have the high ground.
You underestimate my power.
You underestimate my power.
And then he jumps, and then in one slash, Obi-Wan manages to take out 2 legs and an arm, and Anakin just flops down into the lava, or onto the very edge of the lava, and he gets burned alive. And Obi-Wan gives him a speech about,
It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them. You were my brother, Anakin.
Can't let you be evil, so fuck you, you're gonna die there. See you later. But he can't watch him die and burn alive, so he walks away and leaves him there. Obi-Wan escapes and then goes to see after Padme, goes to help her out, get her to some medical attention so she can give birth to the twins. And Palpatine comes along and he sees, now fully immolated Darth Vader laying in the volcanic dirt, just all roasted alive, but still alive. So let's get him back to the Sith hospital or whatever, where he's got the evil-looking medical droids all stitching Anakin back up together and giving him new legs and new arms, and so then they put him in his Darth Vader armor and his helmet, and the worst line in almost all of Star Wars, well, at least up to this point, it was definitely the worst. Anakin does the Frankenstein thing, and he breaks his bonds and he gets off of the operating table. Where's Padme? Oh, she's dead. You killed her. No. Yeah, one of the most cringeworthy scenes in Star Wars. It just looks so dumb. Anakin is now Darth Vader. Palpatine is now Emperor. Padme gives birth to Luke and Leia, and she is now dead. Died of a broken heart. So, the only thing left to do is to wrap it up and get Luke to Tatooine so that he can stay there for 19 years and do absolutely nothing. And Leia goes to Alderaan, I guess, with Jimmy Smits and his Alderaanian buddies, I guess, and you get to see him fly away in the fucking same spaceship that opens episode 4. Alright, it's all wrapped up in a neat little bundle. And I don't know, I guess Revenge of the Sith does a good job of that, but there's still a lot of cheesy stuff in this movie, but I'm willing to forgive it a little bit more, because it is better than those previous ones. Yeah, it is my favorite of those 3. So what would I give it as a letter grade? Star Wars movies are difficult for me. It's like, okay, I like this one better than this one, and I like this one better than that one, and this one sucks, but I can't give them too low a grade, because I don't know, I still watched them over and over again, and I still like Star Wars. I mean, my interest is waning a little bit lately in the last 10 years. But, I mean, I've been a Star Wars fan for life, and I can't obviously fail a Star Wars movie. Not yet. I don't know, I've got more movies to do. This one's definitely not a failure. Like I said, this is the best of the 3. I'm going to have to go ahead and give Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, a B+. It's the most enjoyable of the prequel trilogy, and I don't think B+ is too high. There's a couple little parts that, when I see them, I'm like, ugh, that's really dumb. But I mean, even movies that I like more, like say Return of the Jedi, which I like just a little more, even that has some moments in it. It was like, oh, what the fuck were you thinking, George? I think it concludes the prequel trilogy pretty well. It feels a little rushed in the end because it tries to serve as a transition movie between the prequels and the original trilogy. This was supposed to be, and I guess it is, George Lucas's last Star Wars movie. I don't know if he ever had any plans to go and do 7, 8, and 9, which were placed in the hands of Disney. But I wonder, would they have gotten better? Would we have had better sequel trilogy movies if George Lucas had a bigger involvement and didn't sell off everything to the highest bidder? Well, the only bidder, I guess. That's hard to say. I mean, he made his choice, just like he made his choices making this movie. It worked out the way that it did. Revenge of the Sith gets a B+. So I'm sorry about the extremely long video here. I normally don't talk for this long about anything, but Star Wars gets me fired up. You know? Next up for my Star Wars movie reviews is gonna be the classic, the big one, A New Hope. And you think this video is long? Man, just you wait. So until the next time we visit that galaxy far, far away, may the Force be with you. And have a good one, everybody.